what would be your favorite food to grow, maybe for the ease or the joy of it? Here in Maine? Like
I'd say them
joy?
snow apple turnips, because
Okay.
yeah, there's something that I named. Well, I got a name, but I've kind of created a name for them, and they're just so sweet and tender. It's such a surprise that you just walk out there and you cut one open and hand it to somebody and watch their face go, "Wow, that's good." Carrots too. Carrots, I watch the kids grab them and they just eat them like candy. So yeah, I like growing them.
Those are good. And what about in Maine? What do you enjoy growing and is easy for you in Maine?
Well, not so much easy, because a lot of things that are worthwhile aren't so easy. But I get a lot of joy out of growing garlic. I really do, because it's something that was new to me 10 years ago, and now it's something that everybody craves, and it's a big cycle. I mean, there's probably 9 steps in the process of growing it, so it's definitely not easy. And that's why I used to debate on how much I'd sell it for, but I realized how much time and effort I got into it and how good a quality product it is, so I kept the price up on that.
Okay, good. Well, I enjoy it. I use it for my garlic herb bread.
Cool.
That I sell at the market. And speaking of the market, Tasty Tuesdays, which is every Tuesday from 10 to 12 at the new Port Richey Library. How many blocks from here?
I think it's 3.
3 blocks.
Close. I could do it on my bicycle with a trailer, but I got too much stuff now,
Yeah.
so I need old red.
You're growing too much stuff.
Yeah, but I do deliveries to Wrights with the trailer.
Okay. On your bike?
Yep.
Okay. What I was going to say is, I didn't get a chance to ask you when we talked at the library for the market. Can you tell us about the origins of Tasty Tuesdays?
Well, you did get different memories on it, but I mean, Ann Scott was there, and I was there one day, and she knew I was growing food for Sweetwater, and I just started that market probably 2 years before, and they were having a organic pickup, Tampa Bay Organics or Tampa something, so it was like a box that people deliver, and she's saying, we already got that going on here, people are picking it up, so we could have a farmer's market right here in the courtyard. And I said, well, I'm in. And then she talked to Cindy Cadle, and Cindy was in, and so I think within 3 weeks we had set up that we'd come there, and they'd had tables for us, and so we set up, and a few people were there. Nobody really knew about it except the library people, but people that were coming to the library said, oh, look what's going on, and so it slowly built. I think that first day I made like $20. But yeah, I mean, like last week I made 600. So, so yeah, it's a thriving market, and it's a great market because it's free.
Yes,
and it's the
free
vendors.
for vendors, yeah, there's no setup fee or table fee. Do you remember what year that was?
I just keep saying 6 years ago, so what are we talking about? So 2013, 2012 maybe?
Okay, all right, because I was trying to remember. But when I found out about the new Port Richey Library, we were going there, I found a flyer, and so I went, and I know not everybody can make it on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I was surprised, those days, that time on that day, that it gets people coming. But people complain that they can't, so I think there's in the works some kind of weekend market showing up here within the next year or two.
That's good. There's an energy or a vibe at the market, at that market in particular, that it's hard to describe, but I just knew I wanted to be a part of it. And the Suncoast co-op was going on at the time, and so I joined the co-op and sold the bread there first, and it was because of you and you putting in a good word for me that I was able to become a vendor.
Oh, that's right. I remember talking to.
Well, was there anything that you would like to let anybody know about what you got going on? And we'll take a tour of the garden in a little bit.
Yeah, no, you covered a lot. There's so much going on here that, I just like the fact that, there is a vibe here in the garden too, that, there's birds here that are happy, bugs here that are happy, bees are happy, so it doesn't have to be an exclusively, a lot of people are into the natives, and I'm not against natives, but, this kind of habitat is, there's a lot of food here for everybody. And I like to, I see that daily, when the robins come and they pick this yard much more than the ones around. And especially, one day I remember they were just mobbing this place, and there's a beautiful, traditional yard down the street with St. Augustine grass, and, everything's perfectly edged, and there wasn't a bird in that yard.
Well, yeah. There's probably pesticides all over
Probably,
it too.
probably. But I mean, that's something that I really value here. That everybody's eating and everybody's benefiting.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Oh, can you explain a little bit about how your artistic flair comes out in the design of, at least here at your mom's house, the design of the gardens? It's breathtaking.
Well, so I spent a lot of years in ornamental gardening, and I did a little native gardening, but, the whole thing there was to make things look pretty. I did a lot of lawn care back, 30 years ago, making the lawns look good and planting flowers. And I took that permaculture design course that showed me that I could be growing food in those same areas, and then I used my, experience in making, perennial and annual gardens beautiful to use in vegetables to do the same thing. Because there's colors, textures, heights. So you just kind of use those design techniques and then integrate it into the vegetable garden. So, and then do it on a scale that's farm scale, a small farm scale, but it's still farm scale.
How much land do you have? That
Somebody's,
you're utilizing?
it looks like a lot. Somebody can, you got to be 2 acres, but I think if I stepped it off, it's probably, a little more than a ½ acre, definitely not as much as a 3/4 acre. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, the bed I just planted, 2 days ago, that would be a huge garden for somebody, and that's only like, maybe a sixth of the whole garden area.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I need that space to continue to do the, successional planting. And if I really get into it, I'll be able to plant it all when I get here, and then as the season progresses, I'll be pulling stuff out and replanting things, so I could actually increase production a lot. But I've been, I can only do so much by myself, so I'm trying to tweak that and see what's best, how my time's spent best. Like, there'll be a guy showing up here to scrape my house. He'll probably be doing that when we're touring the garden, and a friend of mine said, "You need to be farming. Pay somebody to scrape your house." So, do what you like, and, use the money you're getting from that to let somebody else make some money and do something you don't really want to do.
Right. And that is another benefit of doing grocery shopping at a local farmer's market.
Yep.
I don't know what the stats are, but the money stays in the area.
Definitely.
I mean, you're providing
don't say the word capital, but something like that.
No, a robust economy,
a
local economy. And
yeah,
so
it's just moving money around within, and moving energy, essentially.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, thank you
sure,
for
anytime.
your time, Jim. I know your morning time is valuable in the garden, so I
this
appreciate
is
it.
kind of a little bit of a day off. I just got to do a harvest for a local co-op, so that's all I'm doing this morning.
Cool. All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Here is the city of New Port Richey's mulch pile. This is obviously the place where you'd pick up. And I don't know if you can tell because it's early morning sun. This is what Jim Kovaleski uses. Try to block the light there. For his gardens, and the city will drop it off for him. And so I'm standing here and I'm guessing that pile is probably 15 feet high. So so this is it. And if you're not a city resident like I am, I'm an unincorporated, you would come here and get it yourself.